Coming up, a hero turns 100 and takes to the skies again twice.
The Electric Beaver flies and bringing good cheer via GA.
And tracking Santa is a big job. We go inside NORAD to see how they do it. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Melissa Rudinger.
A monumental celebration for one of the nation's most storied heroes, celebrating the 100th birthday of Tuskegee Airman Colonel Charles E. McGee.
It's a weekend packed with high honors, friends, family, and 2 flights. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop has the story.
You only live once, but if you're Colonel Charles McGee, you do it right. To celebrate his 100th birthday, dozens are gathered. But beyond the cameras is what he's really looking forward to. The left seat of a Cirrus SF-50 Vision jet.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're still flying here, doing your thing. As they say, your airplane. Your airplane, that's right.
Oh my, beautiful.
Pony Caldera with Cirrus Aircraft there to let this celebrated centenarian get back in touch with his high-flying history.
Tuskegee 1, maintain VFR at 5,500, clear to Class Bravo airspace, heading 100.
Not every flight McGee made was under such bright circumstances.
Part of the Army's program at that time was that they couldn't use a black pilot because they didn't have any black mechanics. So of the now called Tuskegee Airmen, the first were the mechanics that were put into training at Chanute Field, Rantoul, Illinois. That's 14 miles away from the university.
Yep.
And of course we learned there's something going on up there. The Army expected them to fail.
But they didn't fail. The Red Tails became known far and wide to bomber crews. They were legendary in keeping the vulnerable aircraft safe from German fighters. But today, things are a bit different. Instead of a P-51, it's a Vision jet. Instead of diving in on Messerschmitts, the Colonel is flying to Dover Air Force Base, where he's greeted with a hero's welcome. And likewise, back at Frederick.
Beautiful, smooth, wonderful, great day of visibility. And folks, quite a country we're flying over.
Okay. He flew us. I was basically there as a co-pilot to talk to air traffic control. He taxied us out, flew us to Dover, landed the plane, taxied us in, coming back here, same thing. It was just an honor.
Inside, a party. Honor Guard and dignitaries, and a young man inspired by the Tuskegee Airmen writing a moving essay about the Colonel.
As a young black male, learning about how the Tuskegee Airmen overcame the challenges of segregation and discrimination in the Air Force is inspirational to me.
When Colonel McGee was a pilot, it wasn't normal for black people to be in the Air Force, and he had to deal with segregation and discrimination, and through that he overcame it and became a hero.
This young man, able to pursue his dreams of flight thanks to the Colonel and other Tuskegee Airmen. And an old man, gunner on B-24s, able to be here today because of the same men.
I could always count on the Red Tails being out there to chase those German Messerschmitts away and get them and bring them down. They were good.
But Colonel McGee isn't here to bask in any glory. He just wants to make sure that generations that follow are on better footing.
To see so many people come out and share in my bit of past history, if you will, as we look back on the years, but to share in this day and what it means has been very fruitful indeed, very rewarding. I'm indeed impressed.
You know, he's deserving of all the recognition that he gets. He's, as I tell people, with all the accomplishments, he's still a very humble guy.
Vince Mickens organized the festivities, and they didn't stop on the first day. The next morning, another flight. This time with reenactors on hand for a salute.
Ready? 2.
AOPA President Mark Baker there to co-pilot for the Colonel in a Citation M2.
Yeah, the model they call it is a 525.
As with the Cirrus the day before, Colonel McGee doing all phases of the flight with very little help.
He's got it. He sure enjoys flying. He's in charge, by the way. Don't think twice. He's running that airplane.
At 100, he's still a heck of a stick and as sharp as can be.
Thank you.
Well said. I have one more thing for you. What were you guys talking about while you were flying?
Oops. Sorry. Wrong subject.
It's between the Colonel and his co-pilot.
Very good.
Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
There's language in the current National Defense Authorization Act to honorarily promote Charles McGee to Brigadier General. Colonel McGee completed 409 combat missions across World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, served for 30 years in the Air Force, becoming the first African American to command a stateside Air Force wing and base in the integrated Air Force. What a weekend. I was there Friday and Saturday for both parts of that. He is amazing, just amazing.
He is. He's a national treasure. I was able to take part in the celebrations Friday, and that young man Joshua was so inspiring.
Oh, I know. It was. There wasn't, I don't think, a dry eye in the place. It was so moving.
Colonel McGee, well, I guess General McGee,
yeah,
is an inspiration even today with the young generation.
Yep, hard to believe. It's real national treasure. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
A big step forward in electric flight. Harbor Air has been working to take to the skies in an electric beaver on floats, and this week they did it. The 750 horsepower Magnix engine propelled the classic de Havilland into the air over Vancouver, Canada. Harbor Air's business model is as a mostly short-haul operator with an average flight time of 15 to 25 minutes, and that works well with the battery-driven propulsion system that provides 30-minute flights plus a 30-minute reserve.
He's got several world records, and he's working for another. Bill Harrelson is trying to finish a westbound equatorial circumnavigation in less than 8 days. He launched from Florida on December 5th and had several setbacks. He relaunched from Ontario, California. Bill flew, get this, 31 hours nonstop from Hawaii to Indonesia. By the time you see this, who knows where he'll be, but you can track his progress on 6zqpilot.com. That's 6 Zulu Quebec pilot.com. And another Earth rounder is working on a pole-to-pole flight. Robert De Laurentiis, aka the Zen pilot, is currently on his trek. He released a video this week showing how one of the scientific experiments on his airplane works. You can find that on his social media channels. Just look for Robert De Laurentiis Zen pilot on Facebook.
HIWAS is going the way of the dodo. It's going away for good. It was a weather radio transmission broadcast from certain VORs, and as of January 8th, it will be no more. It just wasn't being used in the data link era. Calls to flight service for weather information are also down to around 900 per day nationwide. That's down from an average of 12,000 calls a day in 2005. So if you recall, last week we did a story that Leidos just won the new flight service contract, and that's good news. It's the new contract's going to be 65% cheaper than the old one, and the reason for that is technology. We've gone from over 2,000 briefers down to 900, same level of service. So digital age is taken over, and in person is probably going to go away someday, but not for at least 15 years.
Right. Oh wow, well, that's good. I mean, it's amazing how flight service used to be so much a part of our flight planning and that sort of thing. And to be honest, I rarely call them anymore because I use everything digital, but it's great to know they're there for those times when something is particularly perplexing.
They're important, and I think for student pilots too, it's
absolutely.
important. So yeah, it's an important service, but obviously we've been able to modernize and save some money.
Right.
Speaking of flying, many pilots may be loading up the family and heading out somewhere over the holidays. The AOPA Air Safety Institute wants to help you stay safe if you do. There's a live webinar we've encouraged you to be a part of. Holiday Flying will be live on YouTube Tuesday, December 17th at 8 Eastern. The goal is to be a bit of a safety stand down and put you in the right mindset to make good decisions and happy memories. For more, find more at the URL on your screen.
As you get through the holidays and look forward to flying season, here's something to get you through the cold. The Canadian Snowbirds are going to be the headlining act at Oshkosh next year. The team was last there in 2016. Many people, including me, enjoy the elegant routine flown by the jets without the same noise level as other jet teams. They are beautiful to watch. And speaking of seeing cool airplanes, 2020 will mark 75 years since the end of World War II. 75th World War II Commemoration Committee plans to raise $100,000 to help veterans participate in the Arsenal of Democracy commemorative events in Washington, D.C. next May. Now, you remember 5 years ago, the large flyover down the National Mall. The next one is set to be even bigger. Organizers are pushing for some 100 warbirds to be in that event. Pretty cool. When we come back, holiday cheer delivered by air.
And tracking the jolly old elf.
The people of AOPA's Legal Services Plan work to help protect your certificates, and they love to fly as much as you do. The AOPA Legal Services Plan is offered as part of our Pilot Protection Services. It's a members-only benefit provided to thousands of pilots like you.
Welcome back. When you think about NORAD, chances are you think about intercepts. That's because NORAD, after all, is the agency that'll send a fighter jet to intercept you if you bust restricted airspace. Well, this time of year, NORAD takes on an extra mission, tracking Santa. It all started over 60 years ago when a kid accidentally called an Air Force commander in Colorado Springs, believing they were calling Santa Claus. The commander played along, saying he'd make sure Santa had a safe journey around the world. And from there, NORAD tracked Santa grew and became more high-tech with interactive maps showing Santa's location. There's also a NORAD Track Santa hotline, which gets more than 130,000 calls every year. Most commonly asked question on the hotline?
Yeah, by far and away, the most common question we get is, when is Santa coming to my house? And it's usually from a child. And the answer we always give is, based on our tracking, we can give you a rough idea. But the main message we put across is that, hey, you got to be in bed and you got to be asleep for Santa to come. I mean, he's not going to come if you're not in bed and asleep. He might come back. If you go to bed, but you should go to bed now so Santa can come and deliver gifts for you and your family.
You can track Santa yourself on noradsanta.org. And if you want to hear more about it, check out the upcoming episode of the Hangar Talk podcast coming out next week.
And speaking of Santa, general aviation pilots in Michigan give Santa a boost every year, delivering gifts via airplane to foster kids across the state. AOPA Pilot Senior Features Editor Julie Walker has more.
Pilots in Michigan have the Christmas spirit. For 49 years, general aviation pilots have delivered Christmas presents to foster children throughout the state. This year, Operation Good Cheer delivered a record number of presents, nearly 25,000, with more than 275 pilots flying their jam-packed sleighs across the state to make the holiday delivery.
I love it because kids around just from Michigan get to have a Christmas, and it's a really good magical moment.
The event was organized by a former Ford Motor Company employee who thought his holiday bonus should better serve children. Konstantin Taki Korditis started this program in 1971.
He was kind of a short guy, and he's sort of shaped like Santa Claus, and he had a really loud voice that could be heard when in a big hangar like that, and he had a laugh that could warm the whole place. And he was just so at home helping these kids.
Now, the two-day event is one of the most anticipated holiday events of the season. On Friday, trucks delivered wrapped presents to the massive hangar at Pentastar Aviation at Oakland International Airport in Waterford, Michigan. Volunteers unloaded trucks, marked presents for areas to be delivered, and piled the gifts in towering piles inside the hangar. At sunrise on Saturday morning, the conga line of arriving aircraft began. Pilots registered, got their flight assignment, taxied to the presence, and loaded them onto their aircraft. From large business jets to piston singles, general aviation is Santa Claus for a day, flying presents across Michigan. For the kids receiving the gifts, it doesn't matter what type of airplane they flew in, the joy is the same.
This girl was opening up a present really, really slowly, and her comment was that my mom did a lot for us, but she could never get us a Christmas present. And this year I have this Christmas present, and I want to savor it. I want to take a minute to have it last.
It really brings the Christmas out in Christmas to take these loads of gifts to these foster children around the state, to see them lined up coming out to the airplane to get the gifts. The looks on their faces, the excitement because it's on an airplane, and then the excitement to get the gift, and very fulfilling activity to be a part of.
More than 7,000 foster care children in Michigan will receive Christmas gifts this season, thanks to the pilots of Operation Good Cheer. Julie Walker, AOPA Live.
Wow, what a phenomenal operation. I've heard of it, but I didn't realize it was so large.
Yeah, it looks like an Amazon warehouse or something. That's incredible, the logistics involved in getting those packages distributed.
And how lovely that they have the kids come out to the airport. Right. That's a great program.
Great way to get kids out there.
As we get to the end of 2019, it gives us an opportunity to look back at the accomplishments of the past year. I sat down with AOPA President Mark Baker to talk about the work of the AOPA Foundation and what it has supported this year. I wanted to thank you, Mark, for joining me for this special conversation.
Thanks, Melissa. But before I get started in this program today, I want to thank all the donors in 2019 for making general aviation safer, better, and more accessible. It's been a great start.
So, Mark, for those that aren't familiar with the foundation and the important work that it does, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Certainly. The foundation, which is a nonprofit part of our entity, is primarily focused on two issues. One, the Air Safety Institute, which has been going on for a long period of time, and more recently, the You Can Fly program.
So, Mark, tell us more about the Air Safety Institute and what they've done this year.
The Air Safety Institute has been very busy this year with over 179 different in-person programs, as well as 7 million views of our safety information. And I think finally, getting more flight instructors activated with refresher courses, over 60 of those this last year. The Air Safety Institute's been very busy.
Those are some big numbers, and the Air Safety Institute isn't the only thing that the foundation funds. We also have You Can Fly, which is another huge initiative.
The You Can Fly initiative is something I'm also very proud of. In the last number of years, we built 4 pieces to the You Can Fly. There's the high school STEM initiative, which today we have 160 some high schools around the country in 34 states, with over 5,000 kids this very minute sitting in some kind of STEM education around aviation. And we're at the beginning of that program. We have ways that we're going to help flight schools become better, working with their customers to be really precise about getting your pilot's license faster, more efficiently, and safer. Finally, we have a couple of other programs called Rusty Pilots, which is there's a couple 100,000 people out there that on the sidelines we're inviting back. Over 7,000 people have been invited back flying the last couple of years because of our Rusty Pilot programs. And then to keep them flying, 130 new flying clubs have been created in the last couple of years because of AOPA's effort through the foundation.
Moving the needle, and that's a really nice use of donor dollars.
It is, Melissa. It's really proud of it.
If you would like to help support this work with a year-end gift to the AOPA Foundation, visit aopafoundation.org/donate.
And speaking of the AOPA Foundation, it leads us to some bittersweet news about one of our own. This is Melissa's last broadcast as a regular co-anchor. She's taking over as the executive director of the AOPA Foundation. She's been a major advocacy and regulatory force here at AOPA for decades. She joined this program on March 19th, 2015, and what a long way she's come since. We know how much she means to all of our viewers. We're going to miss her having her on the show. AOPA Live executive producer Warren Morningstar says she added something great to the program.
When Melissa came to the anchor desk, we got a real insight into all of the AOPA's advocacy efforts. She has been at AOPA for a number of years in a lot of responsible positions. And so when a story would break on the government side, she had the background, she had the insight, and she could always bring something more to the table. It was really great. And it was also nice having 2 people on set, having the 2 anchors to be able to talk to each other and play off of each other. I think it made it a better show.
Wow, I appreciate the nice words, and it's been a heck of a journey for me. It's been fun. I've learned a lot. I've grown, I think, as an anchor.
Oh, definitely.
But I'm ready to take on this new challenge of the foundation and give somebody else an opportunity, perhaps, to try their hand at this activity.
Yeah.
So it's been a great ride, and keep saying hi when you see us out in the field.
Yeah, buddy, it's been great. We've worked together on one thing or another for decades, and I have
Yes.
such great respect for what you've done in D.C. On the regulatory side, and I know you're going to take those great skills over to the foundation and help that continue to be successful on the important work that Mark was just talking about that the foundation does. So in good hands, but we'll definitely miss you around here.
Great, thank you, Tom. Well, that's it for us this year. Tune in next week for the Director's Cut, a look back at the best from the past year.
And then join us back here on January 9th for another edition. Merry Christmas, everybody. We hope you have a great holiday season.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.